I've always loved taking pictures with vintage film, particularly Kodak's Trike's pan formula from the 80s, as the grain and contrast of this film makes it a very enjoyable film to shoot with. When this roll of Plus X appeared as an eBay auction 5 months ago, I knew it was a no-brainer and I had to get it. Funnily enough, I never knew what to shoot with it back then, so it has been happily stored away in my fridge ever since. Well, that was till news broke out on a rainy Paris evening.
The BBC is interrupting its normal programmes to bring you an important announcement. This is BBC News from London. Buckingham Palace has announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
It was the end of the Elizabethan era, as we all know it. What was to come has been planned for decades, with the state funeral being the finale of a 70-year-long reign. This was also the moment when the roll of film started making sense to me. It expired in September 1957, approximately 10 years after Queen Elizabeth made her birthday speech in Cape Town. It was also approximately 10 years after she wed Prince Philip. 1957 was also 4 years after her coronation, all of them being in the same decade. At that moment, I knew that this would be a very fitting roll of film to be used. It was made at the beginning of the Elizabethan era. It has lived through the ups and downs of Britain. After all those years of waiting in a metal canister, now it gets to see the end of it. Although this film has never been opened before, there's no way of telling if time has been kind to it. It could have fogged, or worse, fail completely, leaving me with nothing but memories of an important past. I only have one shot at this, and there is absolutely no way of me of knowing if it worked till it's far too late. All that's left for me to do now is to shoot it and hope for a miracle. I hoped the 3 AM bus was early enough, but alas, the crowds have proven me wrong. Luckily, I was able to find refuge behind one of the pillars at the King Charles Street Arch after surveying the area around Westminster. It was the only vantage point where I was able to frame my pictures without worrying about the crowds nor the selfie sticks. It was a grueling 8-hour wait with an equally grueling consideration of what apertures to use on such an old film. Ultimately, I decided to shoot my film on native ISO and blast it with f3.2 and 4.5. Once the day was done, I sent the film for processing on the next day. I was holding my breath when this message came through. To my absolute relief, the film was a great success. The images were pristine. I was very impressed with the quality of the exposures considering the age of the film. With that in mind, allow me to share such important moments with you all. Before the funeral, we were strangers with the same cause. After the funeral, we were all friends with her blessing. She unites us in life and death. All that's left to say is thank you, ma'am.